Game development is such an exciting journey. Of course, game developers are excited to create new things every day. What problems could they possibly have? Well, I've been working on my game The Disc for about 3 months now. During this time, I created a lot of things like enemies, levels, and even a chasing boss. What's the twist? All of this was scrapped. Why, you may ask? Well, let me tell you a story. It was the start of the summer. One beautiful day I woke up and thought, it's time to make a game. It's been about a month since I released my previous game about slicing cute marshmallows, link in the description by the way. The original concept for the game was a fast roguelike where you slide through hand-drawn rooms and eliminate monsters by accurate crossbow shots. However, after some time weighing pros and cons and coming up with more ideas, the game concept was changed to a story-based platformer. I started my journey by creating a new project in Godot. The first thing I created was of course the main character, which is just Blackbean, but we will change it later. I started creating character controls from basic movement, but instead of just abruptly changing player moving direction, I added an interpolation. Basically, the character won't go at full speed at the moment you press the button. Instead, they will quickly gain momentum. This may not seem like a significant change, but trust me, this changes the feel. Next, I added jumping. But if you noticed, in platformers, jump height varies based on how long you hold the jump button. And my game also requires this mechanic, so I added several dozen lines of code in the player script. And now we have different jump heights. Also, the original idea contained enemies that will, you guessed it, attack the player. And to fight them off, the player needs the ability to shoot. So I wrote a new function which allows me to shoot these white squares. But why did I have to scrap all of this? Well, the reason is simple. It was bad. When I started creating levels, I thought, I'm an experienced game developer, I can surely create good levels on the first try, right? Wrong. All my levels were following the same concept. Here is a tall wall that we can't jump over, so there will be some platforms to jump on and climb the wall. And for some reason, this concept didn't make my game engaging. So this was one of the reasons to scrap my levels. Another one is enemies. Their behavior is too simple and they were more annoying than fun for the player to fight. But don't click off the video yet, because I have a question for you. What do you think this location is? That's right, it's a desert. The first location that the player will end up in. Actually, I finished it pretty quicker than other locations. That's because earlier I used to create locations by small parts and tried to polish them to the final version. But this time I changed my tactics. Now I create the entire location without details. Mostly I just draw ground. Then I playtest, maybe find some bugs, and then I place all the details, backgrounds, fronts, and these bushes. Speaking of the player, remember how I said that I would change the player model? Well, after months it's time to finally do it. Now the player is this cute little guy. Wait, something's missing. Yeah, that's much better. In the desert, I added a few unique difficulties that the player will encounter, like this wind. It's so strong that the player has to find behind the rocks to not be sent flying. Also, this black rectangle that's too solid for the player to walk through. So the player has to turn around and search for this black sphere that will open the way. As you can see, I tried making the player solve a puzzle. The player has to find a key to open the door. Puzzle vibes, you know. Also, I made a checkpoint system. We have these blue areas, checkpoints, and when the player enters them, they save his position. And when the player accidentally dies, I hope accidentally, checkpoints bring them back to life. Additionally, by adding one small variable, I made it so the same checkpoint can't be entered twice. For now, there are not many ways to die, but later locations will have a lot of deadly obstacles. Oh, and I completely forgot about the story. Here it is. For the long time, the hero lived happily and carefree, all thanks to the disc. The disc is a mysterious force which was all along with the hero. He cared about it and didn't spend a single day without visiting it. But once, by mysterious circumstances, the disc scattered into 12 pieces, and the hero got stranded in the world with the only goal: collect all the parts and repair the disc. Will he succeed, or will he remain alone in the wild for eternity? Yeah, that's the story. Kinda epic. The problem is, it's not told in the game by any way, so I had to change that. Of course, I could make the player just read all my story, but that's not what the player wants to do when they launch the game for the first time. It's not a reading lesson after all, so I spent a whole day creating this cutscene that will briefly explain what's happening. But that's still not all, because I have to make something else for the game to feel much more juicy, and it's called sound effects. Actually, my game already had a few sound effects that I added when I just started the development, like this footstep sound. or this jump sound. But the game with 2 sound effects would be kinda bad. I wonder why. So I downloaded more sound effects and combined them to get sounds for wind and collecting orbs. Yeah, there are still too few sound effects, but I will deal with it later. Now I could show you the entire desert location, but that would kinda spoil everything, if my game can even be spoiled. So yeah, you will have to try it by yourself when the demo comes out. When will that happen? I don't know actually, but probably pretty soon I will let you know.